And we are back, and we just finished watching 2022's Barbarian, rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 42 minutes. This is the story of a young woman who goes to an Airbnb that she's rented to find another individual in her same Airbnb, although he rented it on House Guest or something.
Yeah, different company. So
different
there was
company.
a bit of a crossing of reservations.
And then hijinks ensue as you...
Hijinks ensue.
Oh my goodness. This was written and directed by Zach Cregger, who also played Everett, it says in the film.
Who's Everett?
Was that the friend? I don't know. All I know is that this movie made me sick to my stomach.
In a good way.
In a good way, yes. Constant anxiety. What the hell? What the hell?
God.
Oh my God.
When it really kicks in, you're just like, what the hell
What the hell is that?
I think I yelled it out. Yeah, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but
yeah,
wow.
because this just came out on HBO Max.
Yeah.
And do yourself a favor.
If you like horror.
If you like horror, definitely check this out. This is a great example of just fantastic storytelling with a shoestring budget, because this could not have cost a lot of money.
Not really. I mean, there were, major motion picture budget as far as the sets and whatnot. I mean, it's a simple, there's a house. Okay? There's a house, and then there's a lot of stuff under the house.
A lot of stuff under the house. A lot.
And I'm sure they reused a lot of that, but still, you're on for like this creepy adventure where maybe adventure is not the best word, because adventure makes it sound like, yay, fun.
It's fun.
No, there's no fun here.
Not at all.
It's just, you're just like
mayhem.
You see these people, the things that they're about to enter, and you're just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just get the hell out.
What is that in the background?
And they're in, it takes place in the outskirts of Detroit, where it's very run down. There's lots of abandoned areas. This is one of those abandoned areas. And for some reason, there's an Airbnb there.
It's the only nice looking house.
Yeah, every house around there is like
burnt out shell.
Ruins.
Yeah, of what it was in. And there's actually a flashback to the 80s where when you see the neighborhood, what it looked like.
The times have been hard for this area.
And even the documentary lady was like, "Get the fuck out of there!
Yeah.
What's wrong with
like,
you?
You're at an Airbnb there?
Oh,
you should leave that place.
You should leave that."
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we shouldn't give too much away. I mean, do you want to do one of those things where we...
After we give our numbers, we'll talk about, because I would like to talk about it more, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody
people that
not
haven't
interested
seen
in
it.
getting it spoiled. Because there is a lot to spoil you. You don't want to...
Yeah. Would you consider this a slow burn? I mean, like, the beginning is kind of not slow, but it takes its time kind of building this thing.
It builds this level of suspense. It builds this level of you're kind of being led to believe one thing, and things go crazy. I mean, you know something's not right.
Yeah.
What is not right is beyond your expectations.
Yes.
I'm not really giving away anything that isn't in the trailer.
No.
But yeah, something crazy happens.
Yes. You don't see it. You don't see the crazy in the trailer, but get ready.
Get ready, and you're introduced to these two characters,
Tess
and Keith, and it seems like it's building up to something.
Yeah.
But you don't. Oh my God, you just get thrown for such a loop. There was a point where I was just like pontificating about how, it's this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to be. All signs are pointing in this direction.
And it wasn't that at all.
And then all of a sudden I'm just like, what the hell is that?
What just happened? You know what's funny? You kept saying that, and I was like, I don't know. That just seems too obvious.
That's the thing. You think low budget horror. You're thinking, they're not going to really throw you for that much of a loop, or if they do throw you for a loop, it's something ridiculous. But this was
unexpected.
Not at all what I expected.
Also, shout out to Georgina Campbell's diction coach, because the lovely Tess is from Kent, England.
Seriously?
Yeah. But does not sound like a Brit at all.
Not at all.
And the lovely Bill Skarsgård as Keith, also an executive producer on the film.
Good for him, man.
Really well done.
He invested his money in something that was
really well done.
Good. I am so happy we got to see this.
Everyone that says, it's funny because we've been hearing a lot of stuff about this movie to the point where people have been like, this is like the best horror movie of the year. And they might just be right. I'm trying to think what's better in the horror genre that I've seen this year, and I can't think of anything.
I don't know. I mean, it's not like a Hereditary where like
it's not a perfect
like just nonstop creepiness that raises your anxiety level. This raises your anxiety level too, but it's different.
It's different, yeah.
It's different. It's more direct peril than say Hereditary.
Yeah.
A better horror film.
I can't think of one.
Yeah.
I can't think of one.
I mean, did Fresh come out? Fresh came out this year.
Fresh did come out this year.
It's not.
It's not that type of movie.
That kind of horror.
Yeah.
I mean, Fresh was horror, but it wasn't.
But it wasn't scary.
There's some bits of it.
I mean, yes, but this
it's scary in that you're anxious and worried for the protagonist.
For Noah. Yes.
Yeah.
But this was like just. I feel like I need to take a bath. Like
there was some elements in it you were just like, gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I turned to you a couple of times during the viewing, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna throw up now.
Yep.
Yeah. Everything you've heard about this movie is on the money. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do yourself.
Yeah. If you love horror, if you like interesting stories, and again, you don't need like fantastic Disney money to make a good picture or tell a good story. I mean, this one, wow.
This was good.
This was really, really good. I'm still kind of like shaking because I'm very frazzled by what we just watched. Because it was, like, again, not that it was a slow burn, but there's a lot of world building kind of in the beginning. Not world building,
really
but
world
just
building, but
setting
just
up.
setting things up.
Yes.
And building expectations and building anxieties.
Yeah.
And
then you think that, like you said, you think that the story is going to go one way, and then bloop.
Yeah.
That's not what happens.
That's not what happens.
Yeah.
No. Do you want to
just give numbers and then talk deep dive on this?
What are you gonna give it?
I'm gonna give this an 8.5.
Yeah, I was thinking in that range too.
Yeah, it's really, really good. From where it starts to where it ends, it is an unexpected journey. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd give it an 8.5, maybe even a 9.
I mean, it's not perfect. It's not
perfect.
Hereditary.
No, it's not
Hereditary. To me, Hereditary is like the perfect movie.
Yeah.
The Exorcist, like a perfect horror movie.
All right, so yeah, I'd give it an 8.5.
Yeah,
so I'm with
it's really, and it's not an intricate story. It's just
not at all.
But once you get there, it's like, oh God, what?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right, so you want to move to?
So if you don't want to deep dive with us, we suggest that you turn this off now. But I really want to talk about this because, holy free holies! I mean, again, it's not okay. So it's not like A Quiet Place, but it is in that. Again, you're telling a solid story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like from where it starts to where it ends here is really just impressive. Because, I mean, this could have been a shit movie. I feel like horror isn't respected. I think in recent years, yes, maybe more so. But I think still horror suffers from this kind of, that's not really good filmmaking. That's not exactly. It's not cinema. Yeah. But I think in recent years, a lot of these creators have really upped the bar, and something like this, again, it's not a complicated story, but once you get into it, and once it goes to where it's going, and then it just snowballs into the rest of the story, it's like, Holy cow.
Yeah.
So do we want to go through the story and just...
All right, so we're in spoiler territory now?
We're in spoiler territory now. Once again, if you're not interested, turn this off.
We're going to get into the spoilers.
Okay.
So what, just explain?
I mean, do you want to like talk about... Okay, so in the beginning, there's a woman named Tess, magnificently played by Georgina Campbell, who is in the rain in her car going to her Airbnb. She keeps getting calls from somebody named Marcus, which she just completely ignores.
Yeah.
Might be a boyfriend or something that she's trying to get away from. You don't really know. She winds up in the dark at this little yellow, almost bungalow, right?
Yeah, it's like the only nice house in the entire...
But you don't know
vicinity.
that. You don't know that, do you? I feel like you only come to realize that after the fact.
That during the day when she leaves and she's driving down the road, she drives for quite a while before there's any signs of like civilization.
Yeah.
All the houses are just wrecked ruins everywhere. Everything's overgrown. It really is the only house there.
Right.
I mean, in fact, like remember how like one side when she looked to the left or the right, there wasn't even street lights. It was just darkness.
Darkness. Yeah. That was the other crazy thing, because when she got there, it was just dark. The only light was at this little yellow house.
Yeah. There were very few street lights. I think only one side had street lights.
Yeah. And so she gets to this house. It's pouring rain. She is having a hard time accessing the key.
Yeah. Basically, there's somebody else who also got booked into the house. We explained that already, and you don't know that already builds up some anxiety because she's a woman alone. There's this strange man. He seems polite. He seems almost overtly polite, which leads to kind of suspicion.
But again, it's also Bill Skarsgård, who's kind of creepy.
Skarsgård, who is famous for being Pennywise. He's a creepy guy.
Yeah.
But he's nice.
Yeah,
he's a total gentleman. After a while they even hit it off. He says, "You know what? There's a convention in town, so you're probably not going to get a hotel.
I'll sleep on the couch and you take the bed.
You take the bed."
Yeah.
And they talk and they get to know each other. They find out they have a lot in common or whatever, and you think, okay.
I thought they were going to hook up, but
there was that possibility there. I think maybe even she was thinking of it too because she was looking at his picture because she took a picture of his driver's license.
Right.
We saw his wallet. She took a picture of his driver's license. In the middle of the night, some strange things happen where she wakes up. She sees the door to the bedroom's open,
which she didn't lock. Because before she
was
kind of
everything.
Yeah,
they
before
made a concerted effort to show her pushing the little
buttons to lock the doors.
And he's having a nightmare on the couch, which freaks them both out. A little bit more anxiety thrown into the mix. She wakes up the next day. She goes on her interview.
He had left her a note.
Seems very polite.
Yeah.
She comes back as she's getting back into the house. There's
wait. Let's reel it back a little. So she goes to her interview. She's interviewing to be a researcher for a documentarian's next picture, which is about Detroit and music. And not the important thing, but the important part of that scene was when they're parting ways and she tells her that she's staying in this town, and even the filmmaker is like, what?
She's like, you shouldn't be there. That's
you shouldn't be there. And again, that's a red flag. This is somebody who's native to the area who's like, you should not be there.
And there's as the story has progressed so far, there definitely is a theme of, or a constant mentioning of the fact that it's more dangerous for a woman.
Yes.
There's a lot of danger for women out there.
Yes.
There's unsavory men out there who are up to no good or perpetrating violent crimes. This area is...
And that's that. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's something that we revisit later with a different character.
That's exactly what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
That's, to me, that seemed to be sort of like the underlying reflection
themes
of the real world. A good horror story is a good horror story, but usually they have some kind of
grounded
reality aspect to it. Family dynamic, drama, or this, which is violence against women. And she even has a discussion with Keith about it. Mm-hmm. they handled it very well. I mean, Keith is he understands the position. He understands the position that he's in and versus her. Now she goes back to the house.
She's driving back, yeah.
She goes back to the house. She gets out of the car, and there's some guy running up the block that scares the crap out of her. He's saying, "Don't you go in that house."
Right. He looks like a homeless guy.
He looks like a homeless girl. She scrambles into the house, barely gets into the house in time. And she's all freaked out. She calls the police. The police are useless. They're like, "Oh, we're busy."
Yeah. Yeah. We can't send anybody out there.
We can't send anybody. And I guess it sort of makes sense because it's such a desolate area. They don't want to go out there.
Right.
They think everybody out there is a crackhead, which comes into play later on as well.
Yeah.
And this is when the basement is
Explored.
revealed. Explored. You find a hidden door. The hidden door leads to a grungy hallway that leads to a little bedroom that just has a video camera and bloody handprints on the wall and a bucket.
And a bed that looks like it's filthy just beyond anything.
Yeah, bloodstained mattress. She, rightly so, freaks the hell out and just runs out of there. She runs back into Keith. And Keith is like trying to get her to calm down.
Well, somehow that door always locks.
Yeah, that's true. She gets locked into the basement because the door closes
banging on the
itself.
glass and that's when he notices her.
Yeah. He comes in. He tries to get her to calm down. She's like, "We got to get out of here."
Which I wish he had listened to her.
He should have listened. And he's like, "There's a room down there." He's like, "I want to see." He's like, "Just give me 30 seconds." And he goes down there and he's not coming back up.
No.
So
she goes down.
And
this time she has the wherewithal to take her cell phone with her because the first time she'd gone exploring, she didn't have anything with her.
Right. So she's got her like a flashlight on her cell phone, and there's another door down there that's sort of hidden that leads to a staircase that goes further down. Into these sort of like catacombs, and she's walking through those.
And it looked like an old, like I think you said, like old mine kind of.
It looked almost like an old mine. Yeah, it had like the braces.
Yeah.
And there she hears Keith yelling.
Yeah, help me.
And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, this is a setup. Keith's going to get her. He's secretly some sort of rapist monster man. And he's crawling on the ground. She sees him. And I love the way they filmed that because he just sort of crawls out of the darkness and she's freaked out. We're all freaked out.
Yeah. And he's got crazy eyes.
And he's like, something bit me. Somebody else is down here. And she's like, we got to go to this way. We got to go to this. And he's like arguing with her. No, to go the other way.
Right.
And you're like, what is going on here? Yeah. It's like he's trying to lead her further into the tunnel.
Right.
And so in my mind, I was like, yeah, he's trying to drag her into some sort of. There were cages. That was nuts. There were like cages for people. And then suddenly, out of the darkness behind them is a gigantic nude mutant woman.
Yeah.
And she just destroys Keith's head. Just smashes it against the wall like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And then
to the point where it's a bloody pulp.
It's like a crushed orange.
Yeah, and then she makes a at Tess, and then that's all you see. And then
we get into this like sort of B story with Justin Long.
Yes.
Who's
AJ?
This Hollywood actor who is going through some. He thinks he's at the beginning. He's like on top of the world. He's singing in his convertible, driving on the coast, and then he gets some bad news that he's been accused of rape by
a
co-star of a pilot he was working on, and
it's funny because the Hollywood people that are on the phone with him give him the runaround basically, and it was like they should have just been like, "Listen, your career's done. We're just telling you, blah blah blah." They kind of like. In circles, right? Consistently, just in circles and circles and circles. And he's like, okay, wait, what are you saying exactly? Like, be clear. And then it finally comes out, and now he is completely thrown for a loop. He goes to his money manager, and the money manager is basically like, you're going to be bankrupt in 3 months.
Yeah.
And also, piss off, I'm not representing you anymore.
He has to go back to, apparently he's the actual owner of the house.
In Michigan.
He bought this house. He converted it into an Airbnb.
Yeah.
And now he's going to be staying there while he liquidates some properties, I guess.
Well, that part.
Elsewhere in the area.
Yeah.
to try and scrounge up enough money to mount a legal defense.
Right.
And he's guilty.
Yeah,
It pretty much comes out that he's guilty. He of course excuses himself with the whole, well, I'm just persistent.
Yeah. That scene was I thought that scene was very well done. But it's also interesting because you also get, as soon as you're introduced to him, you get glimpses that he's an asshole. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They don't really try to paint him to be anything other than an asshole.
Yeah.
And
so now he's at the place, and he comes in and he sees all the bags from Keith
and Tess,
because obviously they never took the bags.
Right.
And he's trying to get some answers about that. He doesn't get anywhere with that.
And then the lady from the management company hangs up on him, right?
Yeah, she hangs
Which
up
was
on him.
interesting.
And then he goes in the basement and he finds the secret door. And what is his first inclination? Oh my God, there's so much more square footage in here than I thought was here before. This is like, I just hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
And he starts measuring everything because he has bags from missing people and a hidden it doesn't even register to him that this little bedroom that he found hidden away in this closet has like an old video camera that takes like VHS tapes and a bloody mattress. He's just moving it out of the way
and
while he
a
goes
bloody
with the
handprint on the walls.
Bloody handprints.
Fuck. Yeah. He's just concerned with finding the square footage.
Yeah, so he ends up going down there
and sees the door and is like, jackpot.
Yeah, he thinks there's even more square footage. He's measuring everything. He ends up getting captured by giant mutant
mama.
Basically, the big mutant lady is the result of, this is what we find out in the flashback, the original owner of the home would kidnap women, bring them to his little dungeon, get them pregnant,
and then have sex with those children.
And then when the kids were of age, he'd have sex with them, and when they would have kids. And this woman is the final result, and she is like extremely damaged. All she wants is like babies.
Yeah.
And so what she's doing is she's treating the captives as babies. She's trying to give them breast milk.
And bottles.
And all she does is, the only form of entertainment she has is watching an old video about breastfeeding. So the rest of the movie is pretty much just them trying to escape. And the thing about it is, like, she is the mama. She is gigantic. Like, she is huge and extremely powerful. Like, there was a scene where she blasts through a concrete wall.
Yeah.
So it's just terrifying seeing this like really tall, gaunt, just hideous creature just smashing through everything, screaming, running after people. She like grabs you find out the homeless guy was actually trying to warn the woman. He knows all about the crazy lady in the basement. He's got like a little compound that he built to protect them. She just tears through that. She picks him up. She tears his arm off and beats him to death with it.
Oh, that scene was crazy.
And the funny thing is, in this scene, you like AJ, he's like saying, "Oh, I got to make this right. I got to make this right," because he accidentally shoots Tess.
Yeah. Oh, well, wait, we glossed over a whole thing. So when AJ gets down there, he gets captured. He falls into this like pit.
Well, I mean, we don't have to go super deep on the spoilers here. I just want to get that what we know.
But we also neglected to mention that Mama's daddy is still alive.
Yeah, that guy's still alive.
And that's how AJ gets the gun.
That
ultimately shoots Tess in
the
stomach.
But the thing I found funny was he's like, he has like this moment where you think, are they trying to give this guy a redemption arc?
Yeah. Yes.
Like with the words and the way he was talking, you're thinking, why are they giving this guy? For a minute there, I was feeling like am I not going to be able to like this movie because I'm sorry, AJ doesn't get a redemption arc.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit. He's an absolute piece of shit. And guess what?
You are correct. Winner, chicken dinner. Yeah.
As soon as that lady comes blasting through the wall, he's just like, fuck everybody.
But he just runs, doesn't even look back.
And like, even to the point of like trying to use Tess to slow the mama down. And it was just,
He was despicable.
What a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a lot that you could associate with the whole
Violence to women.
Violence against women, from the way Tess's experience with something like Bad Boyfriends, to
Frank and his multitude of victims.
Well, that's the extreme example. I was
Right.
going to go from Tess and her bad boyfriend to AJ and his rape of
Melissa.
Was that the actress?
I think that was her name.
Rape of his coworker.
Coworker, yeah.
And not owning up to it, or
and
just,
not even
just
being,
viewing it as I'm persistent.
Yeah, and not even being contrite about it at all.
Contrite about it, he was apologetic because he was facing the consequences of his action. But Tess's boyfriend, AJ, rapist, Frank, absolute disgusting monster who kidnaps. I mean, he had so many tapes. He had
it was
like
scary
30 or 40 videotapes with just names of some of them had names, but some of them were just like screams too much.
Descriptions. It was terrifying.
And you got Tess is a victim, but also Mama's a victim too.
Right.
Even though she is a giant mutant monster that's just
terrorizing,
tearing through walls and crushing people's heads. So there's a lot of like knots in this thing to undo. It's very intricate for something that I would say for probably the second half or the final third of the movie is just like a thrilling escape from this horrible, terrible creature.
Yeah. I would say if you're going to see this, go in blind. Don't read spoilers.
Well,
don't find
saying that at this point.
I mean, saying that at this point, yes, it's pointless. True, but like
if you could go back in time and not listen to us for the last 15 minutes or so, seriously, this. Yeah, if you're listening to this right now, you haven't seen the movie, you really missed out.
Really on being.
You let yourself down. What are you doing with your life?
Where's that from? Seinfeld? I don't know. It sounded familiar, but I mean, this is one of those things that I am happy that I went into blind. I mean, I'd heard like just a ton of people say, "Wow, that was." I won't say anything, but that is the best horror film I've seen this year.
I got to be honest. I was. When Skarsgård is just standing there and you just in the darkness.
On his hands and knees.
No. Oh. I'm talking about when she appears the first time you see her.
Mama, okay.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that just, I was not expecting that at all.
No.
I thought maybe, okay, if it's not him, maybe there's like some like dude down there or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess I'm sorry. I guess I'm a sexist. I was expecting the killer to be a dude. And it's just like, and it's not even like a normal person. She's
twisted.
hideous. She's just naked. Her boobs hanging down. Just this stringy
hair.
Zombie hair.
Yeah.
Like I thought, was it like a zombie or something?
I mean, she's so mutated, and then she had like those long.
Oh, she had those long fingers with the big fingernails.
Oof. And she was just dirty because
she's just dirty. But she was like, even though she was big and gaunt, she was still solid.
Yeah.
Like with the actor they got to portray her.
Yeah.
He was like a solid guy.
Dude,
I mean, you could see him smashing.
And there is a scene where Tess drives her car into Mama and to the side of the house. And yet Mama still manages to get out of that.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of moments
Mama
of
manages to survive quite a bit.
A fall from the water tower and all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, this is one of those movies where it just does not let up. Like, once it gets going, it's nonstop. It is just pure agita. Yeah. Really, really well done. I mean, this obviously, I just looked at IMDb. It's a $10 million movie, which is not a lot by Hollywood standards.
That's like cheap.
Yeah. That's really inexpensive.
Even most like horror films are like in the $30
30 to
million
40,
range,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, but this only, I mean, also they filmed it in Bulgaria, which I guess brings the cost down, but still just really good, interesting storytelling here. I mean,
it didn't get a lot of advertisement either.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I mostly heard about it on like
social
some
media.
sort of social media.
Yeah, I mean that's where I get all my news on Twitter, so that's where I saw. I'm not proud of it.
Terrible.
But that's now that Elon owns it, I probably won't go on as much. But yeah, I mean I think. I think also on the poster, I think this came out in August. So it didn't come out that long ago in the theaters. Mm-hmm. But I appreciate that it's on HBO Max because this was a hell of a ride. Yeah. Holy smokes. From where it starts to where it ends, my God.
Yeah.
My God. And again, it feeds into the horror trope of the girl, I guess, getting out at the end, but at what cost, right?
The final girl horror trope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she was definitely the protagonist of this story. So,
yeah. But it did throw me for a loop when all of a sudden I mean, when they start the AJ storyline, I was like, oh shit, Tess is dead, isn't she?
Yeah, I kind of thought that would be it for both of them.
Yeah. But then when he falls into the thing and you see her, I was like, oh,
yeah,
she's still there. Maybe they can help each other.
Well, the way she killed Keith, I thought it was just. It's over for her.
Yeah.
Like why would she keep him? Why would she keep her alive?
Tess alive? Yeah. But then
by
made sense.
By then, I don't believe they revealed any of the baby stuff.
No. Yeah, and then she makes a comment to AJ like, "Be quiet." Like she doesn't. If you freak out, that freaks her out, and then she's gonna come for you. Yeah, really, really good. Really, really good. I am. Yeah, and apparently this movie made, I think, like $45 million.
Oh, so they're thrilled.
I'm sure. Yeah, they quadrupled their money, so that's excellent. I'm happy for them. I wish it made more though.
Like I said, I don't think this got a wide release, and it didn't. It definitely did not have a lot of advertisement
for it. Yeah, everything I've heard about this film was word of mouth.
Word of mouth, and for word of mouth,
it's pretty good.
Quadrupling your budget, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah. I mean, more of this, and it's interesting because it wasn't a demon, it wasn't a monster, it wasn't a vampire, it was
inbred mutant.
Yeah, and I mean, still
there are
creepy.
Inbred mutant movies.
Yeah, still creepy, but still within the realm of possibility and just the idea that this stuff happens, because let's be honest, this stuff probably happens probably a lot more than we know. Yeah, just really well done. Everything. The actors were all fantastic. The sound, the creepiness of the sound, and just the makeup on Mama and all that stuff. Just top to bottom. Again, not a pretty movie. I mean, in the sense that it doesn't have like these fancy shots or anything like that. It's just, I mean, the Airbnb is pretty.
No, I mean, there's nothing ugly or cheap looking about the movie.
No, there isn't.
For the they got the most bang out of their buck. Definitely, it's very well shot. I thought. You definitely get to see the squalor. The excellent use of darkness.
Yes, excellent.
The way they contrast, like just the way things would come out of the darkness, the way Keith crawling out of the dark. At first you're wondering, what is that? What is that? You know? You just see this sort of like shape moving towards her.
Right. And he's on his
hands and knees, which makes it even more disturbing.
Right.
And then you realize it's him.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. So you feel a bit of relief, but you're still freaked out because
he looks crazed.
He looks crazed. He's covered. He's just filthy.
And he's like, there's somebody down here, and something bit me. Yeah.
And I'm guessing he was walking around in pitch black because he didn't have anything with him.
No.
And then the way Mama just appears behind him
was nuts. Yeah.
Was absolutely nuts, and just screaming in Tess's face. And just like when they would show like looking down the hallway, looking down the tunnel into darkness, and you would see her vaguely there, like slowly moving to, like when AJ found Frank's room, the door to Frank's room, and he's like terrified because he knows she's coming, and he sees her walking towards him.
But then she stops.
Because he's near that room.
Right. And that also goes back to the homeless man who was like, she's not the worst thing down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this movie was bananas.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But really worthwhile. If you are a fan of horror, we both highly, highly recommend Barbarian from 2022. What did I say? A runtime of 1 hour and 42 minutes. Rated R. Yeah, just go check it out. Many, many thanks to Zach Cregger. Cregger. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. But writer, director, I want to see more of him. Absolutely. And that's it from us. And we will bid you all a
good night.
Good night.